Hello everyone, this is Amanya from Gamezo, and today I have here with me Disrupt Gaming's Dpfire, and we're meeting just one day after their win against Beast Coast. So, first of all, Dpfire, thank you so much for being here. And the one question I think have always wanted to ask you was, you've recently made the shift to a new team, and not only that, this is your first team in Tier 1, and you're seeming right at home or in the top tier of Siege. So, how have you found the NAL so far?
Once again, thank you for having me. And you know, coming from only one season in CL to this is my first season in like the NAL. It's been a huge change from like the past teams I've been on in like T3 and T2 leagues. But so far, like you said, I've been fitting in super well so far. I've been playing very well in my role, and I love these guys on this team, and the NAL is great, and I'm just having a good time so far.
Yeah, that really shows in your games with just consistent performances throughout the board. So, yeah, my next question is who, according to you, is the current best entry fragger in the NAL, apart from you? And what do you think you can learn from their game?
Um, so obviously in this stage, um, the best entry that we've seen so far is even from like an entry player. It's from Hot and Cold, who plays like
Hmm.
flex. But I'd say probably the best entry and just how it's set up is another player from SSG, Foltz, because like SSG is just drone work and their team play and like coordination is just next level, and that really allows Foltz to like do his job really well, entering the map and finding those frags. And like one thing that I can just take away from that is just keep working on like good communications with your droners. Always be talking, looking for openings and strats and sites, just like working those opening frags.
Yep, I think that is one of the major factors leading to SSG's current dominance as well. So, another question on a little personal level now, if you had to make an ideal player for Rainbow Six Siege, a super player of sorts, which players in the current teams would it be a combination of?
From all the teams,
Yeah, any yeah,
or just any
that I
player.
mean, if you want to limit it to the North American region, that's totally fine. If
Okay.
that's a region you follow more.
Um, so on like a pure mechanical skill wise, for my first player, probably just you probably know who I'm gonna say, Bolo. Like that guy is just crazy mechanically. I've never seen anybody better, and probably like game knowledge wise, somebody who's been playing for a super long time and is on his way back is Canadian. Um, Canadian's just he's been playing literally since the game came out, and that guy's just super smart, really talented. And another player I'd probably choose is Palu. He's just been so dominant in, especially in the Invitational. He was just absolutely like owning everybody. I'm pretty sure that guy had like 10 plus kills in every single game that he played in the Invitational, which is just insane. And then I'll do one more. I'd have to go with probably probably Thinking Nade. He's been just such a strong support player for as long as I can like remember, throughout Siege. Like that guy's been consistently playing super well throughout all stages of the NAL and all seasons.
Yeah, that does sound like a force to be reckoned with. So now coming back to Disrupt Gaming and your matches. So on your debut, you went 11-9 against TSM. So the nerves must have been high, but can you walk us through the thought process in different stages of the game?
Um So coming into Disrupt, I only had 2 weeks of practice since I landed in Las Vegas with them. So I mean, coming in, like the main thing we were just focusing on for that TSM game was just working on our like basics, teamwork, communication, and just working out the strats. And going into that game, like we knew that it was going to be a rough game because TSM has been consistently one of the top teams in the NAL. And the score line ended 7-3, but a lot of the rounds were a lot closer than the score line showed, and you could see that on like the scoreboard too. We just made like a bunch of small mistakes throughout that game, especially on defense and on attack. Like we just couldn't close out some rounds. Like we let Chala clutch like a 1v3, and that just
Mhm.
comes down to personally my lack of practice with these guys and lack of synergy and coordination on closing out those rounds. Because I feel like if we had a bit like a few more weeks of practice, we definitely could have closed out that game a lot easier than the scoreline showed.
Yep. So my follow-up was going to be, do you think you could have performed better on debut? But I think you've already answered that.
My
So
bad.
no worries. So again, you've consistently been performing for Disrupt now, and this, if one takes a look at some of the last games at August, maybe the one or two games, there wasn't as much out fragging as has been happening at Disrupt. So, what was your sudden motivation that made you up your game so drastically?
You know, coming from CL to NAL, it's like you really have to be dialed in. Like you have to be giving your all at like any given moment. And in CL, I guess you could make the argument that there's not as much competition. Like you can be more laid back. You don't have to go 100%. But coming into the NAL, like I don't want to let these guys down, and I will always be trying to play my best, like that I can possibly play. And that just comes down to like how much you want to win, and how much like time and dedication you want to put into the game. And seeing as like playing video games for money, that can be like a dream job for a lot of people. So why not make the most of it and like give it your full 100% at all times when you can? Like at the end of the day, it is just a video game, but this is my life right now, so I'm just gonna
Mhm.
give it all.
Okay, now again, Desktop Gaming, they've had lost against TSM and Dark Zero. So, and we've come back really strong after those losses. So, how would you describe the team's mentality regarding coming back strong after defeats?
You know, for Disrupt, like we're all super close, like as players and like off the stage. We're all really good friends. We hang out a lot, and we just put those losses behind them. Like every time we lose a round, every time we lose a game, it's a big learning experience and something that can be used to our like used in our favor afterwards. And when we lose, we really just take that and we learn from it. We VOD review, we see what like screwed us over and what we can do to fix that and come up with new stuff. And we don't really let losses get us down. Like we'll push through it, we'll get better from it. And I think that showed in our recent Beast Coast game.
Yep, and same for the Exit game as well, where you won 7-4. Think it really shows a lot of character from a side that when you come back so strongly after a defeat. So hats off to that. And okay, so what, according to you, is an aspect in your game individually that is currently lacking and you want to improve upon to become a more complete player?
One thing that that kind of bugs me right now is it's hmm, I'd say it's my ability to stay focused 100% during like a game, because matches in the NAL, they're like really intense, and sometimes, for example, like call outs that are being given, like sometimes I just won't hear it the first try, like the first time, and somebody has to say it again. So I that comes down to me and like just being too focused on myself and what I'm doing in the round, and like kind of canceling out other people's call outs. But I've been getting a lot better at it coming into the NAL. In CL, like I didn't really have that problem because I was more laid back and chill. And now, like, it was a problem that started when we were first practicing, like tunnel visioning. But I've gotten a lot better at it so far.
Yep. And one thing I've also noticed is even with along with the frags, there is a somewhat low survivability rating. Would you say at your part? And is that, I think, as an entry player, that is justified. But do you think it should be better?
Um, I think that's completely situational.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are a lot of deaths that can be, like played out better. Like not over peaking, pausing during the round, like just getting out of like dangerous situations. But like I said, I feel like it's completely situational because sometimes you have to die in order for like to take map control. And a lot of siege is just doubling up with somebody and
Yeah.
trading out those kills. So I think my survival rate could be a little better because I've died first maybe a few times, just like some random stuff. But I think my survival rate it makes sense for what I've been doing in my play.
Yeah, that is shown in your KOST rating as well, that it is impactful. Yeah, you are impactful in the round always. So uh, now I think my final question is, your next three fixtures are going to be Oxygen Esports, Mirage Esports, and Sonics. So how do you think DG fares against these teams, and which of these do you consider to be your strongest opponent?
Um, I think we match up very well into all three of those teams. Oxygen, um, they were looking great in stage one, but there's been I don't know what's going on with that team
Mm.
right now, but their performance has been lacking. I don't know exactly what place they're in. I think they're in seventh, but
Yeah, they are in seventh. Yeah.
they're in seventh. Yeah. So I mean, I think our oxygen game, we're just gonna be obviously doing a lot of odd review, going over like their tendencies, stuff like that. I think our hardest game, it's hard to say because it really comes down to like what maps we end up on. But just team wise, I'd say probably Oxygen or Mirage would probably be our hardest games coming up soon.
Yeah, Oxygen might be getting underestimated a bit due to their performance in stage two, but
I
I think
agree. Yes.
they might be able to surprise anyone with a little jab. Um, yeah, so I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much for being here again. This was really a great opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much, man.